And just like that, everything we've been waiting for comes down to one final moment. The friendships we've held on to, the choices we've questioned, and the heartbreaks we've watched unfold are all leading to a finale that promises to be as unpredictable as life itself. In this last chapter of Season 3, the women of New York stand at a crossroads, and for once, it isn't just about who they're with, but who they're becoming. The story of Season 3 has been about more than just love and loss. It's been about the messy, complicated ways we try to hold on to the past while reaching for the future. At the center of it all stands Carrie Bradshaw. Once again, she finds herself pulled between memory and possibility, between the comfort of what she's known and the daring risk of what she could still have. Every choice she has made this season has felt like a silent countdown ticking toward the final question. Can she let go of the man she once believed was her forever and open her heart to something new, or will she stay trapped in the shadow of her own history? Miranda's journey has been no less turbulent. Once the most pragmatic and logical of the group, she's had to confront the chaos of her own heart. The decisions she's made this season have left her questioning not just her relationships, but her very sense of self. She has been brave, yes, but also broken. She has fought for her happiness, but at times it feels like happiness has slipped through her fingers just as quickly as she's reached for it. And now, as the season moves into its last chapter, Miranda stands at the edge of a decision that could either redeem her or leave her lonelier than ever. Charlotte, on the other hand, has been caught in the constant push and pull of family, identity, and dreams. Motherhood and marriage have always been at the center of her life, but this season has tested her patience, her boundaries, and her belief in who she is outside of being a wife and mother. She has discovered that even when you've built a perfect picture, the frame can still crack. And as the finale approaches, Charlotte must ask herself, can she still chase her own desires without losing the life she's worked so hard to create? But Season 3 hasn't only been about the original trio. Seema's presence has been a reminder that friendship isn't about the past, but about who stands beside you in the present. Her unapologetic confidence, her struggles with love, and her loyalty to Carrie have made her more than just a side story. She's become proof that even as some chapters close, new voices can give the story new life. And it's her sharp wit and her quiet strength that may guide Carrie toward the choice she has to make. Together, these stories have been building like storm clouds gathering over the city skyline. Each character has carried their own weight, their own regrets, and their own hopes. And now, all of that energy is about to break. The finale is not simply an ending. It is a moment of reckoning where every loose thread must either be tied together or cut away for good. Because in the world of, and just like that, nothing is ever left untouched. Every choice ripples, every heartbreak lingers, and every ending becomes a new beginning. So as we prepare for episode 13, the finale of Season 3, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. None of them will leave this season the same as they entered it. The city has changed, their lives have changed, and now, the question is not what they've lost, but what they're willing to fight for in order to move forward. The air in New York feels heavier as the finale approaches. There is a sense that the city itself knows something is about to change, as if the sidewalks and streetlights have been holding their breath alongside us. Every season of And Just Like That has carried its own rhythm, but this time, the beat feels slower, more deliberate, as if each character has been walking toward this one unavoidable crossroads. Episode 13 is not just the end of a season. It's the moment where every choice, every mistake, and every longing glance comes together in one final storm. For Carrie, the weight of time is impossible to ignore. She has always been the dreamer, the writer, the romantic who spins life into stories. But now, her story feels unfinished. Torn between pages she refuses to close and chapters she's too afraid to begin. The finale hints at something more than just romance. It whispers of finality, of her being forced to choose between holding on and letting go. There is a quiet sadness to her this season, but also a quiet strength. In the last episode, she must decide if she is still the woman who chases after lost love, or if she's ready to become the woman who writes a new kind of ending for herself. Miranda's path has been one of constant contradiction. She left behind certainty in search of truth, only to find that truth is messy, complicated, and sometimes cruel. In the finale, she stands face to face with her own reflection, and she doesn't always like what she sees. There's no easy fix, no magical solution waiting for her. What she has is a chance to either rebuild what she has broken, or finally admit that some parts of her life are meant to remain shattered. It is Miranda's most vulnerable moment, and perhaps her most human. Charlotte's story has always been about perfection, the perfect family, the perfect home, the perfect life framed in glossy edges. But this season has pulled back the curtain, revealing that even perfection comes with cracks. The finale places her in a position where she must face the question she's been avoiding. Is she living the life she truly wants, or simply the life she once believed she should have? In this last episode, Charlotte's quiet doubts begin to speak louder, and for the first time, we see a woman willing to rewrite her own rules. And then there's Seema, bold, unapologetic, and fiercely independent. She has become the mirror that Carrie didn't know she needed. While Carrie has wrestled with the weight of her past, Seema has reminded her that survival is not the same as living. In the finale, Seema's role becomes more than just a supporting presence. She becomes a voice of clarity, the kind of friend who doesn't just comfort you but challenges you to face the truth. Her presence promises to be the turning point in Carrie's final decision, but this finale is not only about individuals. It is about the bond between them. The friendship that began decades ago has shifted, stretched, and sometimes fractured, but it has never truly broken. That bond is what the finale leans into, the reminder that no matter how different their journeys may be, these women remain each other's anchors in a city that never stops moving. When the laughter fades, when the tears spill, when the choices cut deep, it is friendship that pulls them back from the edge. The tension is undeniable. Every ending in And Just Like That has carried its own bittersweetness, but this one feels sharper, more permanent. There are goodbyes we can feel, coming even if we don't want to name them. There are decisions we know will leave scars even if they lead to growth. The finale does not promise everyone will get what they want, but it does promise that everyone will walk away changed. And so, as the season prepares to close its doors, one question lingers above all. Can these women embrace the unpredictable, the uncertain, the unfinished parts of life, or will they keep clinging to the comfort of the past? Because in the world of And Just Like That, endings are never simple. They are messy, beautiful, painful, and necessary. And just like that, the finale becomes not just the end of a season, but the beginning of whatever comes next. Asterisk, the beauty of a finale is not only in what it reveals, but in what it forces us to imagine. Each character walks into episode 13 carrying years of history and the weight of choices made this season. The finale may not answer every question, but it will shine a light on who they've become and who they might still be. For Carrie, the stakes feel heavier than they ever have. Her journey has always been about love, but this time it is about something deeper: identity. She has spent decades defining herself by the men she has loved, the relationships that shaped her, and the heartbreaks that broke her. But in this finale, Carrie is no longer just a woman searching for love. She is a woman searching for herself. The question is no longer, who will she end up with? But rather, who does she want to be? There is a quiet possibility that her final choice will not be a man at all, but a version of herself that has been waiting to step forward. Yet, knowing Carrie, the possibility of romance lingers like perfume in the air. Will she risk everything on one last leap of faith, or will she finally walk away, unafraid to be alone? Miranda's arc is perhaps the most unpredictable. For years, she was the one who kept her feet on the ground, the one who reminded everyone else of reality. But in season 3, Miranda herself has been spinning, uncertain, restless, impulsive. She has made bold choices, but each has come at a cost. Now, in the finale, she must face the consequences. Will she find the courage to rebuild trust with those she has hurt, or will she accept that some bridges cannot be repaired? There is a haunting loneliness in Miranda's story, but also a glimmer of redemption. The finale may give her the chance to reclaim her strength, not by being perfect, but by being honest. Perhaps for the first time, Miranda will stop running from herself. Charlotte has been the emotional anchor of the group, the one who still believes in the fairy tale even when reality proves harsher. But this season has tested her belief in perfection. She has realized that even the most carefully constructed lives can feel empty if they are not lived authentically. The finale may place Charlotte in front of a mirror she can no longer avoid. Does she still want the same dream she fought for all those years ago, or has she outgrown it without realizing? The quiet power of Charlotte's arc is that her struggle is not loud, but deeply human, the struggle of balancing who we are with who we once thought we should be. If she chooses herself even in the smallest way, it could mark one of the most meaningful shifts in the finale. Seema's presence has been like a storm cutting through the fog. She is sharp, fearless, and unwilling to compromise her sense of self. And yet, beneath her confidence lies a vulnerability she rarely reveals. In the finale, Seema's role may surprise us. She could be the one to shake Carrie out of her hesitation, reminding her that love is not meant to be a cage but a door. Or perhaps she will face her own reckoning, admitting that even the strongest among us crave connection. Whatever happens, Seema has already proven herself not just a friend, but an essential part of the story, the reminder that even in new chapters, friendship remains the foundation, but what binds them all together is the unspoken truth that endings are never truly endings. The finale will not tie every thread neatly. Instead, it will leave frayed edges, questions still hanging in the air, and emotions that refuse to settle. That has always been the magic of Sex and the City, and just like that, the refusal to give us easy closure. Life is not neat, love is not simple, friendship is not perfect. And in this finale, those imperfections will be laid bare. So what can we predict? Carrie will face the hardest choice, not between two lovers, but between the past and the future. Miranda will wrestle with regret, but also with the chance to rebuild herself. Charlotte may quietly take her first step into a new kind of freedom, one not bound by perfection. And Seema, ever the outsider turned confidant, may emerge as the voice of truth that carries into the next chapter, the finale. Then is less about answers and more about transformations. Each woman walks toward change, knowing it will cost them something, but also knowing that it is the only way forward. Because in the end, the story is not about who they end up with, but about how they end up with themselves. And just like that, the finale becomes not just an ending, but a promise that the story of these women, in all its messy beauty, will always keep evolving. Every great story leaves behind echoes. Not just the words spoken or the scenes lived, but the feelings that linger when the lights dim and the credits roll. And just like that reaches the end of Season 3, what echoes most is not simply romance or heartbreak, but something far greater, the question of how we hold on to friendship, identity, and love while everything else shifts beneath our feet. From the very beginning, this revival has asked, what does it mean to start over when you're no longer at the start of your life? The finale does not hide from this question, it leans into it. We see women who have faced the losses of love, the ache of regret, the uncertainty of choices, and still somehow they rise. Because beneath the couture and the cocktails, the dinners and the dilemmas, this has always been a story about resilience, about women daring to reinvent themselves even when the world insists they've already been written. For Carrie, that reinvention feels like standing on a tightrope between memory and possibility. The finale places her in a position where she must decide whether she is still defined by the man she lost, or whether she is finally ready to step into a life that is her own. Her decision will not just close one chapter, it will ignite another. And for us, as the audience, it is a reminder that grief and love are not enemies, but threads of the same fabric. To let go does not mean to forget. It means to create space for what comes next. Miranda's arc resonates with another theme, the courage to face yourself. Her struggles have not been glamorous and they have not been easy. She has stumbled, she has questioned, and she has at times fallen apart, but that is what makes her so achingly real. In the finale, Miranda represents the truth that reinvention is never smooth. It is jagged, uneven, full of apologies and second chances, and yet in those flaws lies her strength. Perhaps Miranda's ending will not be triumphant in the traditional sense, but it will be honest. And honesty in this world is its own kind of victory. Charlotte reminds us of the quiet battles that unfold behind closed doors. Hers is the story of expectations, the ones we place on ourselves, the ones the world places on us, and the weight that comes from carrying them for too long. The finale may not give her a grand dramatic twist, but it will give her clarity. For Charlotte, the theme is not perfection, but acceptance. That true happiness is not about living up to an image, but about embracing the mess, the chaos, and the imperfection that makes life real. And then there is Seema, standing tall, unafraid, unwilling to compromise her fire. Yet even in her fearlessness, she shows us something tender, that independence does not mean isolation. In the finale, she may embody the most modern truth of all, that love can be found in unexpected places, and that friendship can be just as sustaining as romance. Through Seema, the show tells us that no matter when we arrive in someone's life, our presence can still shift the story. The larger theme, woven through all of them, is this: endings are not failures. Endings are beginnings dressed in disguise. Every heartbreak leaves room for healing. Every goodbye leaves room for a new hello. Every finale, no matter how final, carries within it the seed of continuation. That is the legacy of Sex and the City, and now, and just like that, the refusal to stop evolving, to stop questioning, to stop searching for more. And so, as episode 13 approaches, the city holds its breath. The streets of New York, where laughter and heartbreak have walked hand in hand for decades, prepare to witness yet another ending that will ripple through time. We do not know who will stay, who will go, who will find love, and who will stand alone, but perhaps that uncertainty is the point. Life is not meant to be solved. It is meant to be lived, and just like that, the curtain falls on season 3. But even as it closes, it reminds us that stories like these never truly end. They transform, they expand, they shift, just like the lives they mirror, because love doesn't end. Friendship doesn't end. Hope doesn't end. They only change shape, waiting for us in the next chapter. So when the final scene fades, and the credits roll across the screen, what we are left with is not sadness, but a question that will carry us forward into whatever comes next. If this is the ending, what kind of beginning is waiting just beyond it? And just like that, we wait to find out.